So this is my first ever kayak tournament in a borrowed kayak, Gene's kayak. Got about an hour in the kayak on Friday, and this is early Saturday morning. And Jeff said, "Don't worry, you can't turn it over, and it's almost impossible to fall." Ah! So we got that to look forward to. So this is blast off. Us and about 20 other kayaks put in here at this one ramp, and it was a fiasco. So we could be on the water at 6, start fishing at 6:30. It's like 6:45 now. I mean, it just takes forever to load and unload a kayak. And so this is the start of the day, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I get pretty dark during the day. Matter of fact, I've got some footage I'm not even going to show y'all because someday my boys might watch this video, and it's akin to throwing a golf club or slamming a tennis racket down, and I've done both of those, and I try to be beyond that, but I still burn pretty hot. Most of you guys who have not watched more than the last year of this stuff, when I tournament fish, I burn hot, and I don't like getting beat. So I apologize for some of the footage y'all are going to see, but I'm going to take you through my day. Well, I'm having camera issues, which I know anybody that watches my channel is not surprised, but I caught a fish. Didn't take long, but he ain't gonna keep. I'll take a quick peek at him here. That is a proverbial, I think about a 12-incher. Yep. Good start. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boat control. Boat control is quite tricky in the wind. Boat control is quite tricky without the wind, but with the wind it is very tricky. It was on the old skinny dipper. Sarah's biggest fish ever was on a skinny dipper, and we had just started seeing each other. She caught a 6:30 at Rayburn. And I said, "You know what that bait is?" And she said, "No, what?" And I told her, and she didn't believe me. So I pulled out the package. It was a white trash skinny dipper. It could not have been a better bait for her to catch her first big fish. So funny. White trash skinny dipper, baby. All right, let's catch another. All right, well, it's 8:14. I'll give y'all my first report. So Gene and Billy are behind me in my boat. You'll see there's not any rods behind me now. I kept hitting the rods behind me. So a couple things. Well, first off, I told them the only thing I see wrong so far fishing out of a kayak is it ain't a bass boat. That seems to be the big downside to it. I've had 3 bites. I caught that little 12-incher. And then I pulled a 2-pounder to the top of the water, and then I pulled a 3 or 4-pounder to the top of the water. But I ain't Bill Dance, man. I ain't sat down and set the hook ever. And so I really have not mastered setting the hook. I'm really now trying to concentrate on keeping my rod pointed directly at wherever I'm throwing it, so that as soon as I start pulling on it, I'm setting the hook. I don't know that I would have caught them other 2 fish in a boat, but I'm pretty sure I would have. But my struggles so far have been the rods behind me, so I just jettisoned all my rods. And there was 2 things that were getting me there. One was I like to make that cast, and if there's rods standing right there, you can't make that cast. And the other thing was, if I was going to cast overhanded, I do a sweep cast overhanded. And the only way to do this was to come to here and make a flick cast, and I kept backlashing because it's a flick cast, so kind of like stomping on the gas in your car. When you stomp on the gas, your tires spin, and I was just backlash. So I finally got rid of that stuff behind me, and I feel a little better. I'm getting a little more comfortable with boat control. The wind's laying down a little bit. The wind's certainly been a challenge, but you know, the 2 fish I've lost were both because I was at a funky angle, you know, trying to set the hook this way. So I'm learning. I actually still think I can do well in this tournament. I'm sure some guys have got some weight, but I'm around fish. Again, I've had 3 bites, and I probably didn't start. We could start fishing at 6:30, but that's the other thing I've learned. So the other thing I've learned is these things are a pain in the butt to get in the water, and it's not, well, the launching's not easy, but they have to take all their, well, I guess you don't have to, but they take all their stuff off their boat every night. And that's a huge pain in the butt, because then you get to the ramp or wherever you're going, and you got to put all your stuff back in the boat, rig everything back up every morning. You know, bass boat, basically you roll up, unhook the motor mounts, and float it off. And that ain't how you do it in one of these. It's quite a production to get it in the water. So apparently it's cool in a bass boat just to go, or in a pontoon boat, just to go directly around guys, because I just had 2 guys go directly around me and start fishing. So I'm guessing the etiquette in one of these tournaments is different than the etiquette in a bass tournament, because if a guy did that to me in a bass boat, we'd already had words. Oh well, just keep fishing. I just want to turn this on to apologize for anybody within about 3 miles of me, because I just lost one, I don't know, 5 or 6 pounds. I mean, it wasn't a giant, but it was a solid fish. And once again, I got a hook set on it. And I yelled about 20 times. I want to defeat this. This is pissing me off. I've lost a solid 2.5 pounder. I've lost one between 3 and 4. Now I've lost one, I don't know, 5 to 7 pounds. And it's all because I don't know how to, well, I can't get leverage on them. And I'm really, 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 really frustrated right now. Really frustrated. Fish right there. What's he around? There it is. Well, that was a fiasco for a 14-inch fish. But I think we're on the board. I don't know what he was around. I couldn't pull him off on. There's a rock right there. I've been around that rock. All right, well, that's one. It's a 14 3/4. And what happened was there's a big pile of rocks right there. And that fish was on that pile of rocks or right next to it. So when he got stuck, I was afraid he was around those rocks, which is why I didn't want to just keep jerking and jerking and popping free. I think when it was all said and done, he was really just around a couple pad stems. But again, if it had been out here in the open, I'd have just pulled him and let that cord cut those pad stems. But rock will cut cord. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock always covers cord. You're going to lose. So if you got rock versus cord, cord loses, and that's what I was worried about. So, but I put one in the boat finally, so that's a 1 in 4, well, 2 in 4, because I caught the short fish this morning. Boating ratio, which is not good, but standing up makes a big difference. And by the way, I know I got white stuff all over my face. If any of you have not seen any of my videos before, I just had a big hunk cut out of my lip by an oral surgeon because of a scare of skin cancer. So wear your sunscreen, young guys, young women, old guys, old women. Wear your sunscreen. So I think between that fish and here, I had lost another fish sitting. So I'm trying to stand, and I want to, if you get crossways in this boat, my axis is not wide enough here. Not good things will happen. And again, I'm pretty frustrated. I hadn't talked about it yet. This is a brand spanking new kayak. As a matter of fact, I think this may be the first time it's been in the water. And Gene had wired it, but he was having wiring issues, and my trolling motor kept turning off. And that's why I didn't have a back GoPro, because the power kept flicking on and off, and it turned my GoPro off. So I finally just pulled that down when I pulled the rods out, and I'm having fits, and I'm frustrated. And I get a little thing here, and I focus on something too close to myself, and down goes Frazier. Luckily, Frazier landed in the boat, on the front of the boat, and not in the water. Although I would have been able to stand up right there. They said I couldn't fall out. I damn near tried. All right, for the day, 1 Grinnell, 7 largemouth bites, 1 short fish, this 18, 1 14 3/4, a big one, 2 more this class, and a couple I didn't see. So I had, I'm sure, upwards of 100 inches of fish hooked. I was around fish, and this is the proof. This is Jeremy Baker, who was paddling in as we were paddling in, and he looked over and he said, "Hey, are you Ken Smith?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, man," I said, "How did you do?" And he goes, "Well, I think I won." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah. And I came over in this area because I watched your video, and I thought, well, that looks good." So he just showed up, went fishing, and caught them all day long. And these are his words, on a Yellow Magic around Millful. And he said he had a little area, he'd go in and he'd catch 2 or 3. He'd back out, they'd reload, he'd go back in, and he'd catch 2 or 3 more. So good for Jeremy. Congratulations on a win. 180 something inches and 140 something inches was second. Again, I didn't catch them, but I had the bites to easily have a top 5. I don't think I could have beat Jeremy, but I could have certainly got around 2nd or 3rd place, but it doesn't matter because I didn't catch them. And it's a learning curve that I'm not sure I have the patience to try to learn, because I've got a really nice bad cat I enjoy fishing out of. I'll do it again, but not in the near future. That is completely filling a kayak up. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. That's crazy. Hold on. All right, I survived. So a couple things from my day of fishing. It is a mess putting kayaks on and off trailers. Kayak manufacturers have not figured out how to make a trailer that's like a dry bone where you just winch them up, apparently, because man, we've been here a long time watching guys put them on the trailer. Jeff and Gene put 2 on this trailer in just 3 minutes, but it takes a while. So a couple things I would suggest from what I saw today that I would do different in a kayak. I've still got the old Ken Smith that did all the boat videos in me. First off, these. So they put places for you to put your rods over there where you can lay them down. The problem is when you're standing up for stability, you want your feet as far apart as they can be. If you got rods laying there, you can't put your feet as far apart, because the broader your base, the more stable that boat is. So everybody uses these. This is a bad idea because you're hitting them. All you got to do, they should cant these and lay them down, and the rods would not be sticking up right behind your head. I don't know why in the world they would make those straight up and down, but whoever Yak Attack is, that's a dumb idea. Those should be turned sideways. Maybe you can move them. I see screws there. Maybe you could actually turn them. Sorry for the bad angle there. I would change that. Secondly, swivel seat. We saw the guy coming in, the guy who won, y'all saw him. He had a swivel seat. That was an idea I told Jeff. I said, I'd put a piano chair in here. And the other thing is, I had that remote control around my chest all day. And I was constantly looking for it, especially when I'm sitting, I'm constantly looking for it. I would take, and Jeff came up with a great idea on how to do it, I would put it on my thigh. I'd put it on Velcro on my thigh. Just put a strap around your leg where you know where that remote is, especially when you're fishing, because you don't want to be looking around for it with your hands. So I would put my remote control. I thought about my wrist, but my hands are up with my rod. I think you come out way ahead. And I think, Jeff, you're probably gonna try to figure out a way to Velcro that control to your leg.
I'm gonna glue Velcro to both the waders and a patch, right, that I'll wrap around my leg. And then I'll put Velcro on the back of my fob and just stick it there.
I mean, and you could even put it a couple places where if you wanted to move it during the day, you can move it around.
Absolutely.
But
and these ones from Power Pole, so I know the last time we talked, you know, I took the motor off. That Move trolling motor is exceptional.
Yeah, that you tried to race that guy and he wouldn't have nothing to do with it. He's like, nope, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, he knew. I'm getting now almost 8 out of it. So I got it all trimmed and dialed, but it comes with 2 waterproof rechargeable 12-volt fobs. So when what's really awesome is, and I had this happen with that XI3, the batteries died on the water.
On your fob.
And you're screwed.
You're dead in the water.
You're dead. So now I'm charging one all the time and I'm using one. So Ken Smith fishing fans, I did not kill Ken, although we tried. We put our college Arkansas Razorback try into killing Ken. Sarah asked me to make sure that, you know, it looked like an accident.
They will never know how much life insurance I have. Never tell her.
My guess is it's pretty solid.
You think
now.
if a guy sells life insurance for a living, he owns some life insurance?
So, I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I apologize for the technical difficulties today, but I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, you know, a rock star in a kayak and 1 being a disaster, I would give you a solid 6.5 to 7, which for your first time is pretty freaking exceptional.
Yeah, it was. I certainly would. That would be a fair score to me. I really struggled, and I struggled because of the pads. And as you said, Lake Fork with lily pads, stumps,
The worst.
water, yeah, and then throw wind on top of it. I mean, I pretty much got everything you could get to make it tough for the first day to fish out.
And I'll
of
tell you
kayak.
what, I guarantee you are not anywhere near last place, which
Not last place. I think I can get a check for not last place.
it was a rough day. This is a rough lake. What really sucks is
All right, we're gonna
we
time
were
this guy.
so close to the winning fish.
Yeah, the winning fish were within a half a mile of us. It's just that's okay. Good for that guy. Good for that guy.
So other than the F-bombs and the obvious frustrations, what do you think of kayak fishing?
I think I like bass boat fishing a lot. I did tell Jeff, if you can catch them in a kayak, you can catch them in a bass boat. If you can catch them in a bass boat, maybe you can catch them in a kayak. And I can certainly see situations. I would love to have one when the water's in the trees at Rayburn, just to slip around back there behind it. I never got completely comfortable, well, either paddling or with trolling motor. And again, it's just, you know, a lot of wind today and fishing very shallow, so I constantly had stuff tangled up in the trolling motor or tangled up in the kick fins, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough way to learn, but hey, I've never done anything the easy way.
No. Well, I was.
Wait, his last comment was, I was impressed. I want to make sure we got that recorded.
I was impressed.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm not wet.